two officers come in, escorted by a few patrol cars, and they have badges and cuffs and all that stuff. They hand us a poster and a summary violation suspension of our liquor license, and they scoot out the door.
So the war on small business owners continues as restaurants are struggling to stay open. And it's interesting to me that it's not the localities that are trying to shut them down, but it's the heavy hand of the state. Joining us is Brendan Bird, who owns the Bulldog Pub and Grill up in Greeley. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me, John.
All right, now, you and I have talked before, and you had your liquor license pulled because you stayed open. That is, you violated the orders. And if I understand what was going on at the Bulldog, I mean, you had like 300 people in this place. None of them were wearing masks. Everybody was running around having a party. You had all sorts of health code violations and liquor code violations. You were selling tequila shots to 8-year-olds. I heard it was a mess, and you deserved to lose your liquor license. How close am I?
Pandemonium. No, that is absolutely incorrect, sir. So you got to go back a little ways. I'll tell you the quick story, be as brief as I can. A couple of days after some of the dials changed, before Thanksgiving, we're going back a ways here. On the Monday before Thanksgiving, I had spoken to my county commissioner. I had spoken to my local sheriff. I had spoken to my local health department. And here in Weld County, they had encouraged us to stay open and to be responsible and safe as we had been doing for months.
And you have been working, if I've got this right, you were working at what they call yellow, on level yellow. So you was half capacity, you're wearing masks, desks are spaced, or tables are spaced. Do I have that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a Monday after supposedly some of these orders changed, and I get a phone call from the Criminal Investigative Division of the Liquor Enforcement Agency of the state.
Not of Weld County, not of Greeley, but of the state down in Denver.
And the Criminal Investigative Division. And this was at 7:00 at night on a Monday. And they leave me a voicemail. I call him back the next day, and he says, "Well, you are in violation." And I say, "Well, what did we do? Did we serve a minor? Did we overserve? What's going on?" He said, "No, you're in violation of the public health order." And I say, "Well, that's news to me. And here's what my local authorities have said. We always defer to the local authorities as the highest level that we deal with. You know, that's who I can talk to. Good luck getting the state on the phone, but I can talk to my sheriff or my county commissioner or my health department right now. And they've encouraged us to be safe." So at that point, I say, "Well, you know, I want to comply, but with whatever rules are appropriate, but I need to have something in writing. I need to know what's going on." I said, "Did you come in the restaurant?" They say, "No, we did a drive-by. We're up in Greeley, and we're doing drive-bys and enforcing the governor's public health order." Wait.
Now, the Liquor Enforcement Department division comes out of the Department of Revenue in the state, and they just happen to be up in Greeley doing drive-bys, and they didn't even put their nose in. Something just doesn't sound right to me.
Especially, and that's where I'm at. I'm on the phone with somebody I don't know from Adam, and I'm like, "Well, hold on a second. Anytime you ever deal with any authorities, you get official notice. You get told. Somebody comes in." So he said, "Well, this is your official notice." And I said, "Well, can I look this up? What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, Google it." And I say, "What, Google?" He said, "Well, there's over 200 mandates. It's your responsibility to be familiar with them as a business operator. Google it."
All right. You know, let me ask you this, because I don't know this. But when I get something from the state, it comes on a piece of paper with the state emblem on it, and it's from the state. If a person shows up like a liquor enforcement, don't they have a badge or some sort of credentials to show you?
Right.
Is that usually how that works? A health code guy comes in and the inspector has a badge or at least ID giving him the credentials to say what he's saying. This is just a phone call you get. You don't know who it's from. They just say they're from the state. I don't doubt that they are, but that's not how it's done.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I've never had to have any kind of dealings with anybody of a criminal nature. But yeah, you get a health department visit and they don't announce it, but they come in, they show you their badge, they look around, make sure you're safe. Ironically, we just had a health inspection that was perfect a week before. So yeah, I get this phone call. I say, all right, I'm gonna have to look into this. I make a second phone call on Tuesday morning. That was Monday. This is Tuesday. Call the county commissioner. Call. Said, well, we're taking the stance that you should operate, and individuals and business should operate in a safe manner and take personal responsibility. I get one more phone call. I say again, same thing. Give me something. Let me know what's going on. He said, all right. Last I hear from him, he says, we will have a supervisor call you and tell you what's going to happen if you don't comply. I say, great. I'd love to talk to him. I'm available. That night, Thanksgiving Eve, this is 2 days, a whopping 2 days into this little conversation. I'm talking to everybody. I'm trying to figure this out. They come in, not at opening, not at noon, not at 2 o'clock, not at 4 o'clock, but they come in at closing time. There's about 15 people in the restaurant. They don't clear the restaurant out. They don't emergently remove everybody for their own safety. 2 officers come in, escorted by a few patrol cars, and they have badges and cuffs and all that stuff. They hand us a poster and a summary violation suspension of our liquor license, and they scoot out the door.
Wow. And tell me if I've got this wrong. You cannot survive without your liquor license. And this liquor license was not revoked by your local liquor board or by your county health department. It came from the state. And I'm still trying to figure out how they can, in any good conscience, threaten your liquor license for a non-liquor violation. If you were selling booze to minors, great, I understand that. If you were serving alcohol after hours, fine, I get this. But they're shutting you down for COVID restrictions using a liquor license. It's just, it's insane, absolutely insane that they do it that way. So you're under suspension. What happens next?
Yeah, so we're doing, what the heck do we do? And then we're just closed. And of course, I think by design, this was the day before Thanksgiving, and then we're looking at this going, what do we do? So I hire an attorney. We go to carry out only. The attorney starts negotiating with the attorney general. I get emails from, let me say this again, from the attorney general. My tiny little pizza place in Greeley is getting emails about my liquor license. It's insane. Anyway, the long version of that story was 19 days later, my attorney successfully lifted the suspension, and just Saturday we got our liquor license back.
Terrific. Now, are you open now?
So it's a small win, honestly, with no dine-in and 8 o'clock close. It's a small win. We'll take it, but we're not doing.
Let me see if I'm understanding what happened. So you stayed open, letting people in. Now you're not letting anybody in due to the state order, and now you get your liquor license back. Are you tempted to let people back in now?
Well, the violation. I'm with you. I'm scratching my head. Where are we at with this? But the violation, it wasn't based on anything with the liquor, so they could very easily violate me again, in theory, based upon non-compliance with a mandate based upon another mandate. So it's very, very confusing.
Let me ask you this. Did they successfully beat you into compliance to make sure there was nobody inside, no customers were inside your business?
Well, I'm going to say no, and here's why I will say that. We'd love to grab our rifles and go to the Capitol. Maybe a lot of people would, and maybe that's the fight, and maybe it comes to that. But I'm a retired firefighter. I was in the Marine Corps. I am trying to fight this battle within the constraints of the legal system. So what we've done is, while we do that, we need to survive. So we're working on the outside area. We're doing the things that they've asked us to do, because once you violated that liquor law that they're saying I violated, but public health order, now I knowingly am violating something that they say is part of it. We're going to fight that. Absolutely. We're continuing to fight that. We've put together a Weld County Alliance. We have over 40 businesses, and we're retaining a lawyer based upon that to go after this in I guess, their world, in the courts. Because we've seen, if you haven't followed Lion's Den or any of these others, that the next step is they come down and start seizing your property.
They'll take your liquor and they'll shut you up and board you up. What's so amazing to me is that folks up in Loveland who are in a similar situation is a different county, Larimer County, which is much more nannyistic than Weld County, which is much more autonomous. But in Weld County, your county commissioners, your sheriff, the cops in Greeley, nobody wants to enforce this, and the state has to run up and do it. In Larimer County, even their Department of Health is working with restaurant owners to keep them open. And when the state got word of that, up they come from Denver, like the Soviets rolling into Hungary, and they're going to put an end to this stuff. In the meantime, you're fighting for your very life, your very survival. I know you call it just a small pizza place, but I'm assuming this is the biggest investment of your life. Is it true?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't get into this. It's not for the faint of heart. None of us are getting rich here. You put it all on the line. Everything's tied to your home, tied to your kids' future, to college. Everything is, if the restaurants don't succeed, the banks don't give you a loan based upon how well the restaurant's doing. Everything is tied up in it. Your mortgage, everything, anything you have in this world is tied up in that. If it doesn't succeed, not to mention 15 employees and their families, it's reprehensible, honestly, that we're sitting in this situation.
Hey, thanks for sharing. And folks are up in Greeley, go to the Bulldog Pub and Saloon. Do I have that right?
Pub and Grub.
Pub and Grub. Bulldog Pub and Grub. And help guys like this out. These are small businesses, and if you've got a chain restaurant, they've got corporate attorneys. They know how to try to get more money out of government to survive. These small mom and pops, they just want to live. And I keep hearing about, well, we're trying to follow the science. Well, also, we need to follow the economics. Here's the science of the economics. You're going to put Brandon out of business. He's going to lose his home. His kids are going to lose. His employees are going to lose, and it's going to have a huge domino effect. But nobody cares about the science of economics. Hey, Brandon, thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for your time, John.
If you enjoyed that conversation, by all means, click one of these other great programs. We have the best conversations with the most fascinating Coloradans. And subscribe to our channel. Just click down below and hit that little bell button too. You don't want to miss a single show.